Welcome back to part 2 of our paper bead tutorial. And here we go.
Okay, so now the next one I'm going to do is going to be another little one. This is my 1/4 inch. Put the scrapbooking paper on the outside. And this time we're going to use the bottle. Okay, so I'm going to have to move my camera up so you can see this. I'm going to kind of do this sideways to the... Okay, so you put it between the 2 bars. Okay, and you bring it as close to the edge as you possibly can. Can you see that? Okay. Then, using the handle, and I still use my fingers to help guide, you roll it. Now see here, it's not, this is better for the bigger beads. I'm picky about my small beads, but you just want to get that lined up how you want, and then you just go to town. Okay, and then you manipulate it whenever you feel like you need to. Make sure that the magazine paper is behind that scrapbooking paper. You don't want it showing through. Keep them lined up. Turn that crank. Hope this is in frame. See, and you just manipulate it the way you want. My magazine paper is a little off kilter. Oh. I'll just hold them like that. There we go. And then, like I said, just manipulate it so that you're getting exactly what you want. Very awkward doing this on camera. I hope you're getting the gist of what I'm doing. Maybe if I stand behind the camera. There we go. Hope you're still in frame. There we go. So we get to the end. We put a dab of glue on. There we go. And now we just finish this up. And again, I'm using my thumb and pointer finger to spread that glue all around the bead. Okay. And then this one pops off. And you remember I showed you that little slot? You just drop it in the slot and it's ready to go. Now those are my 3 techniques. Oops, sorry. Those are my 3 techniques of how to make the paper beads. So like I said, you always want to put the upcycled paper behind or in front of, however you're doing it, of the pretty scrapbooking paper. Now I have to say, my favorite technique is the little quilling tools, because I feel like I have more control. I'm just going to show you that one more time. Okay, so you put your 2 pieces together. You put your 2 pieces together. You take your quilling tool, you slip it in. You bring it as close to the edge as possible. Then you just start doing this and making your bead. And with your magazine paper, if you have one side that's got lots of words and the other side is just color, I try and put the color side out more than the words, especially if I'm using a color. But again, that's up to you, and you can always manipulate your bead. Until it's glued, you can manipulate it however you want. Okay, and then you get to the end, put a dab of glue, and then you just finish that baby off. And if you've got a little part that's sticking up, attach more glue and finish that up. Okay, but this is the one that's got the paper flap. So what I do with that is I just keep some toothpicks on hand and I move that paper flap out of the way by putting it on a toothpick. Okay, and that just makes the paper flap lie down. The other thing I didn't show you is I keep a piece of paper towel that's wet on a plate so I can wipe off my fingers. Because when I make paper beads, I usually end up making about a couple hundred of them at a time in a sitting. So that's done. Make sure that it's what you do to one side, you do to the other. There we go. So see how that's a nice hole now on both sides? It doesn't have that paper in the way. And I use a toothpick. If I want perfect holes, I use a toothpick. Because see, look at that. That's a perfect hole. I use the toothpick. If I want, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's for me, I use the quilling and then put it on a toothpick. And it gets it pretty darn good. See, look at that hole. And look at your little bead. I mean, it's a very cute little bead. Okay. And then if I'm doing bigger ones, I like the tool. This little thing I find comes in really handy if I need to make quite a few for a project. So when I say quite a few, I mean like if I'm in a rush and I need like 50 or 60 in order to make a project for an order and it's got to all happen in one day, this is the way I go. Or if my fingers get tired from using the toothpick, because the toothpick you do have to put more force into, or if I'm getting annoyed with the quilling for having that paper in the way, and that's what I do. Now the next step, after you have your beads, is you want to put them through 3 stages of curing, okay, I guess is the way you'd say it. So you'd want stage 1 would be your decoupage or something like that to harden it and make sure everything's glued where it needs to glue. So I usually do 2 of those, and then I do 1 of a glossy finish, like glossy finish. Anyway, I'm gonna show you that next step in just a moment. I'm gonna get myself cut up and make a few more beads. Be back when I'm done, and then I'll show you the next 2 steps. Hi everyone. I just also wanted to show you how I cut my paper to make paper beads. So I am going to be making slips of paper that are 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and tapered down to nothing. And I use my paper cutter, and it doesn't have to be exact, but close. So, and I just zigzag it until I'm done the paper. So I start from wherever side my cutter ends off on, and then I just measure it out and slice. So all there is to it. So I go to the 1/4 inch and I slice it along. And I sag it a bit and I go to my 1/4 inch down to nothing. I do that until I'm done my whole piece of paper, and then I gather them up and I put them in a clip. And that's how I do that. Okay, so I'm back. It's been an hour and I'm ready to do my second coat on the paper beads. So here we go. I'm gonna turn this down a bit. Okay. So I take off the beads on both sides, and now what I want to do is I just want to simply separate them. I'm just separating them so they don't get sealed together. Okay, so here we go, separating them all. So there we go, we separate them all. There we go. There, so they're all separated. Okay, now I'm going to take my Podgy again. See, Podgy. It's glue glaze sealer. I'm going to put my beads in the container once again. And I'm going to make sure they all get nicely covered. I'm getting low on this stuff, so that's why I have my other jar. So see how they're all covered once again. Take them out. And then again, I'm just going to get all that excess off. And then once again, I'm going to set them up to dry for an hour. And I just wind my fishing line here and set the box up. I kind of tilt the box up just a bit so that if any liquid does come, it's not sealing the beads to the table. And there we go. We let those dry for another hour. Okay, so I've taken the beads and I've spread them all around. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going over them with my glossy accents. And I want to get them nice and coated. And the reason I don't use paintbrushes is because I find that they leave streaks and I don't like streaks on my beads. So I get that nice and coated, all the sides, and once again, I scooch off any extra. And then I set it to dry. Now this one is quite thick, so I'm going to separate each of the beads. And that's it. That's the final stage. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and share and subscribe buttons. And have a great day.